And with that done, then we can finally go out and get the data that will help us find out if the ITG air filters will allow the R8's mighty 4.2 litre V8 to gulp down air even more efficiently. Hello guys, and welcome to this VolksWizard video, which is actually episode 14 of Project R8. Now, some of you may remember that back in October 2019, the car was serviced by Birmingham Audi, and I knew full well at the time it was due air filters and spark plugs shortly afterwards when it would turn 6 years old, but I chose for them not to do the work because A, I can do it for less, B, I can do it better, C, I don't have to mess around dropping the car off and collecting it, and D, and this is an important one, I can fit performance air filters should I choose to do so. Well, that time has come and I'm going to do the job today. I've got some air filters from a company called ITG who are based in Coventry. They've been on this channel before. They did the one for the GTI and I've used loads of their filters that just haven't made it onto camera. Their filters are made in the UK and they've got a brilliant reputation in motorsport and amongst tuners. They are, or at least they were, the preferred air filter of MRC tuning in Banbury. So if you know anything about Audi tuning, you'll know that's some endorsement. What I want to do though today is just not a simple DIY job, which would be just too easy. I want to see if there's an effect on the airflow going into the engine when we fit the new filters. So let me explain to you what we're going to do. So the air filters reside in this box here, which I've already undone. These are the originals, which, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've had a look at them before and cleaned them off, but they look pretty dirty again. I think I've said it before, if you're doing air filters, you probably need a spanner and some other bits, but you also need a vacuum cleaner, because by and large, you may be replacing the air filters, you can bin those, but look at all the debris in the airbox. Actually, yeah, that's the kind of debris that was all around the car, so that's from when the car lived up in Scotland. So you can see they're dirty, but what I want to do is a test run with the original filters. So I'm going to clean them off with a vacuum now just to give them a hope in hell of being as efficient as they were originally, and then we're going to run down the dual carriageway with VAGCOM plugged in, measuring the airflow into the engine, and then we're going to switch over to the performance filters and see if there's a difference. So I will tell you exactly how it is. So without any further ado, let's get cleaning these old manky air filters up and go for a drive. Okay then, I've given the air filters a good vac and the airbox as well. I've cleaned out all the loose debris. There's also a bit of sediment within the frame of the airbox. I've scraped out with a flat blade screwdriver and vacuumed that out as well. You could probably take it off and give it a good pressure wash to make it aesthetically better, but I think functionally it's as good as it needs to be right now. So we'll put the airbox cover back on. There are 10 screws, a T25, and then we can go for a test drive, and I'll see you in the car with the laptop at the ready. Okay, we're sat in a lay-by now on a quiet dual carriageway, plenty of room to safely do this kind of testing. We don't need to go fast either. We're going to use first, second and third gears. We've got 8,000 RPM to play with, and we've got my diagnostic software here. So we're in the engine module, we're in group number 2. We've got airflow there, which you can see is on 2.7 now at idle. If I rev it, you can see it goes up. It's how much that changes as a peak when under load that matters. I can't just do it here sitting revving the engine. We've got RPM as well, which will give us a good cross-reference for the two. We're not going to look at the data live, by the way. This is just going to log the data. It'd be dangerous to do that, so I'm going to do the run now with the standard filters, but then we're going to do a run with the ITG filters, compare the two on spreadsheets when we get back to the office. So let's get cracking now with the standard air filters. Okay, I'm back at base now after that first test run, and I'm about halfway through the process of swapping over from standard filter to ITG filter. Good time to give you a closer look at what we're dealing with. So this is a standard air filter. It's got a foam cover on it, but really it's just a paper filter like you would have seen quite often on other cars. And this is the ITG filter. So this is really just a thicker foam, but right through, so there's no paper in there. There's a plastic frame though, because it's obviously going to be sucking in a lot of air, but yeah, I'm sure that will filter as well, if not better. It might be a bit noisier, but that's actually probably no bad thing. And a lot of the restriction with OEM filters is because they want to keep the noise down. So that's great. Now these are a couple of £100 each. You can probably get them a bit cheaper off eBay. Official RRP is £204, including VAT, which I'd imagine isn't actually too dissimilar from the original Audi parts if you buy them from Audi. Now fitting isn't really complicated enough to just justify a proper guide, but there are a couple of tips I'll share with you. So the air filter is attached to the MAF sensor with a couple of screws, they're T20s, and they're a bit fiddly to get to, but not too bad. They thread into this bit of plastic on the air filter. Unfortunately, the ITG filter doesn't have the plastic there for the screws to thread into, so I've had to get a couple of nuts and bolts to do the same job. Now I've emailed ITG, I haven't heard back yet, but I'll put the official line in the description below because I'm not sure what they expect people to do really with that. So anyway, nuts and bolts are perfectly fine, they'll do the job. I've used locking nuts as well with a nylon insert so they don't come undone, and they look alright. You can't actually probably see them with the airbox on anyway, but they're doing the job. There's the O-ring seal there as well, that's nicely compressed with the nuts and bolts. So I just need to do that for the other side. And with that done, then we can finally go out and get the data that will help us find out if the ITG air filters will allow the R8's mighty 4.2 litre V8 to gulp down air even more efficiently. Okay, once again, you find me loitering in a lay-by just outside Birmingham in a particularly ostentatious motor vehicle, but we do have a reason for being here, and that's to record the airflow into the engine of the R8 using the diagnostic software that's set on the laptop right here. We've got the ITG air filters a few centimetres back there, and actually since installing them I have heard from ITG and they say there are a couple of bits missing from the kits that were required to connect the air filter to the MAF sensor, which they're going to obviously make sure are in all the other kits that they supply from now on. So let's get going then. So let's press resume on this. That's recording, you're recording, so nothing coming. Let's go then. Do you know what? That does feel a little angrier, but the data will reveal all. Let's put it into 6. So if you've noticed, I'm wearing a particularly relevant t-shirt. I just bought this off eBay, it cost me 12 quid, it's not sponsored or been given to me. So if you want one, I'll put a link in the description below. And if you've got any interesting t-shirts you want me to wear on the channel, then get in touch. I'm sure if they're relevant, we can work something out. Right, we're just going to go around the block. I did it twice in the car before from another lay-by back there, so good time to have a play with that gearbox. I don't get time to enjoy it all that often, to be honest. Going down the gears is the most fun. I might even try second now. Actually put it into sport mode, which really just firms the car up. Whew. I've got to say, it does feel like I'm in sport mode, but yeah, we're in sport mode for the dampers. We're not in sport mode for anything else, no throttle, and it feels definitely sharper, which I am genuinely surprised about. Well, we'll see what the data says shortly. Well, welcome to my 4.2 litre desk. I knew that boot would be useful for something one day. Okay, I'm just going through the data from the test drives, and the results are, yeah, pretty conclusive. There's no doubt about that. The data's not particularly complicated. No need to plot it into a chart to show you or anything like that. I just need to put my glasses on so I can actually see what I'm doing. No laughing. It didn't do Henry Catchpole any harm, did it? Okay, so there were 2 runs for each of the filters, and this is the first one for the standard filters. So we've got a timestamp, but you can pretty much ignore that. We've got the RPM, and we've got the airflow into the engine measured in grams per second. It's in red because this is the maximum figure from the test run, and that's really what we want. So 153.69 you can see there, hopefully. And then I'll flick over to the second run, and that was 155.86, so a little bit higher. And then let's have a look at the ITG runs then. So ITG 1 is this one. We got 155.17, so marginally higher, but really insignificant, but at least it wasn't lower. And then on to ITG 2, this one, the second run, and again, marginally higher than the standard filter, 156.19. So yeah, as I said, pretty conclusive. They don't make any claims for any increased horsepower, but there is a pretty distinct improvement in throttle response. Like I said when I was driving, it's a bit like switching into sport mode, which is not surprising really, because this is a normally aspirated engine. I think a turbocharged engine would probably mask that quite a bit. Other benefits from fitting these filters are they're reusable, so you just clean them and oil them. There's advice on the ITG website how to do that, as well as lots of other good advice like how to prepare your car for track days. I've got a good friend who doesn't speak rubbish very often, if at all, and he reminded me when I told him what I was going to do to the R8 that he gets better MPG since he fitted ITG filters to his current car, TTRS, and he had the same effect when he fitted one to his Mark 1 TT a few years earlier. So that's something to consider. You'll get better MPG as well. Potentially, obviously, I can't confirm that today. It'll take a while to work out if that's true, but yeah, any improvement is welcome on a 4.2 litre car like this. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed this Volkswizard video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, please comment, please share, please do subscribe, click the bell notification icon, and I'll see you for the next one soon, which should be the spark plug replacement on this car, which I was planning to do today but ran out of time, so that should be a good one for episode 15 over the next couple of weeks. So see you then. Stay safe guys. I bet you thought this video was over, but I've just driven this car home and something very weird has happened. I just want to tag this on to the end of the video. I don't normally see more than 25 miles to the gallon, but I've just seen significantly more than that. 26.7 over 35 miles, which is really weird, but I can only put that down to the fact that the car's so much more responsive with the ITG air filters that I can run a higher gear at lower revs, and that's better. So if you want to save the planet, buy yourself a V8 and fit some ITG air filters to it.